Have you ever picked up a large old dollar coin and wondered where it's been? Maybe it sat for decades inside a forgotten drawer, tucked away in a coffee can, or hidden in a box that nobody had opened for years. Most people would glance at it and move on. But every now and then, one of those oversized dollar coins tells a story that reaches far beyond its face value. And when it comes to the 1977 Eisenhower dollar, that story is far more fascinating than many collectors realize. Imagine this for a moment. It's a quiet weekend afternoon. Someone is cleaning out a family member's home and comes across a small container filled with loose coins. Pennies, nickels, quarters, and then something catches the light. A large, heavy dollar coin unlike anything commonly seen in circulation today. The date reads 1977. At first glance, it seems ordinary, but questions immediately start forming. Why is it so much larger than modern dollar coins? Why don't we see these anymore? And could it possibly be worth more than $1? The answers take us back to a very different period in American history. The Eisenhower dollar was introduced in 1971 and honored one of the most recognized figures of the 20th century, President Dwight D. Eisenhower. For many Americans, Eisenhower represented leadership, stability, and a generation shaped by enormous historical events. The coin also celebrated America's achievements in space exploration, which is why the reverse design features an eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia. By 1977, the Eisenhower dollar was nearing the end of its journey. Production would continue only one more year before the large dollar
series came to an end.
That fact alone gives the 1977 issue a unique place in the history of American coinage. It represents one of the final chapters of an era when the United States still experimented with large, circulating dollar coins. But here's where things become interesting. Millions of 1977 Eisenhower dollars were struck. Because of that, many people assume every example is common and worth only face value. While it's true that most circulated pieces remain relatively affordable, collectors know that not all 1977 dollars are created equal. The first clue lies in the mint mark. In 1977, Eisenhower dollars were produced at Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, while specially made collector versions were struck in San Francisco. If you examine the coin closely, you may notice a small mint mark near Eisenhower's neck. A D indicates Denver. Coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia. An S identifies a San Francisco issue intended primarily for collectors. At this point, you might be wondering why collectors care so much about such a tiny letter.
The answer has everything to do with condition and scarcity. Think about two identical cars built in the same year. One spent decades exposed to weather and heavy use. The other remained protected in a garage. Even though they started life the same way, their values today could be dramatically different. Coins follow a similar pattern. Many 1977 Eisenhower dollars entered circulation and accumulated scratches, marks, and wear. High-grade examples that survived with sharp details and attractive surfaces are much harder to find. Collectors often compete for the best preserved examples because quality matters enormously in the coin market. And that's where some surprising values begin to appear. A typical circulated 1977 Eisenhower dollar may only bring a modest premium over face value, but certified high-grade examples can command significantly stronger prices. The difference often comes down to preservation, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. It's a reminder that condition can sometimes be just as important as rarity. Now here's a lesser-known fact that many casual collectors never hear about. The Eisenhower dollar was never especially popular in everyday commerce. Its large size and heavy weight made it inconvenient for many people to carry. As a result, vast quantities were stored away rather than actively used. This unusual situation means that many examples survived, Yet truly exceptional specimens remain surprisingly difficult to locate because collectors seek coins that stand out from the crowd. Another fascinating part of the story involves proof coins. San Francisco produced special proof versions in 1977 with mirror-like surfaces and remarkable detail. These coins were never intended for normal circulation. Instead, they were created specifically for collectors who wanted the highest quality examples available directly from the US Mint. When a proof coin is viewed under proper lighting, the reflective fields can create an almost dramatic contrast with the frosted design elements. It's one of those moments that reminds collectors why coin collecting often feels like a blend of history, art, and treasure hunting. Of course, no discussion of the 1977 Eisenhower Dollar would be complete without mentioning varieties and errors.
Now, it's important to keep expectations realistic. Most 1970s dollars found in pocket change or old collections are normal issues. However, collectors continue examining these coins for unusual characteristics, such as striking anomalies, die varieties, and production differences that may attract additional interest. While not every unusual-looking coin turns out to be valuable, the search itself remains one of the most exciting aspects of the hobby. And perhaps that's what keeps the Eisenhower Dollar relevant decades later. Collectors aren't simply buying metal. They're connecting with a specific moment in American history. Every coin serves as a miniature time capsule. A 1977 Eisenhower Dollar may have passed through casinos, banks, cash registers, and family collections before eventually finding its way into a collector's hands. In the United States today, demand for Eisenhower dollars remains remarkably steady. Some collectors focus on assembling complete date and mint mark sets. Others pursue only the highest graded examples. Some are drawn to the historical connection with President Eisenhower, while others appreciate the Apollo-inspired reverse design. The result is a collector market supported by multiple generations of enthusiasts. What's especially interesting is that younger collectors are increasingly discovering these large dollar coins for the first time. Compared with modern circulating coins, the Eisenhower dollar feels substantial and distinctive. Holding one creates an immediate connection to a different era of American coinage. So the next time you encounter a 1977 Eisenhower dollar, don't rush to dismiss it as just another old coin. Take a closer look. Check the mint mark. Examine the surfaces. Notice the details in the design. Consider the history it represents. Because sometimes the most fascinating discoveries aren't hidden inside ancient treasure, chests, or locked vaults. Sometimes they're sitting quietly in a drawer, waiting for someone curious enough to ask a simple question. What exactly am I holding? And that question has inspired countless collecting journeys across America. If you enjoyed this story about the 1977 Eisenhower dollar, make sure to subscribe to HF Coins World for more fascinating coin discoveries, collecting history, and hidden stories from American numismatics. And before you leave, take a look through your own coin jars, old albums, and family collections. You never know which piece of history might be waiting there, ready to tell its story.